Why don't you walk us through what we're looking at here?
So it kind of starts a little bit earlier ago than from this comment, but this comment right now is from yesterday, literally a few hours ago. David was on my podcast and we were talking about his creation of his character, congratulating for winning his account, this, that, and the other. And I told him the story as to why they wanted to create that competition in the first place. And he thought it was absolutely awesome. And he wanted to thank me and thank the podcast for working on. He had such a good time. And there was a video released today about Calvalax from Raid Shadow Legends, a character profile, and it included David Fitzsimmons. And he did his shout out. He said thank you to myself, the podcast. But Plarium kind of edited it out, clipped it out. And I was like, well, be honest, we all kind of knew it was going to happen, but they did. They kind of clipped it out, and
so yeah, So let's take this as the first point in this video. We're gonna talk about something, make a point by the end of this video, but let's just put this as the first bit of information. For some reason, Plarium decided to remove the part of the interview where Fitz does a shout out and thanks SaffronMan for your portion of basically this idea, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next bit of information that we have here as well. Okay, which would be, and I want to show you something here. This is a screenshot from Sorel herself, and she says, hey, great to hear from you. Hope things have been well. That is a very cool idea. Those entries are just precious. What is she talking about here, SaffronMan? Would you like to break down this next bit where you yourself were messaging and giving her some ideas? Would you like to tell us what we're looking at here?
Absolutely. Let's go back like 12 months ago to last summer. We had the Affinity Cup going on within the community. I was up against Jay Giggs. It was really good fun. And towards the end of the Affinity Cup, we got to give away our accounts as content creators to members of our community. I was kind of like riding on a high back then. I was like, do you know what? I'm not just going to do a normal giveaway. We're going to do something a little bit different. I got my community to try and invent a SaffronMan character within the game of Raid Shadow Legends. They got to write down
a contest,
the faction, the skills, the lore. They got to really create all the lore for a SaffronMan character within the game. We had like 20 or 30 applications. We took the winning 3 applications, which we all voted for, and we took those applications to Fiverr, and we hired an artist to make an artist rendition of the information that we got given. And the winning collaboration or the artist would then get my account at the end. And as you can see, the community were going in really in depth. They come up with so many detail. They went through masteries for the characters as well as going through the lore and the skills really in depth and thought out.
This is one of, and not to interrupt you, excuse me, but for the people, this is sort of in my opinion, an investigative type of report thing here today. So just to give a little bit more of information, this is one of many of the things he sent to me here. These are all documents for an example of some of the ones that people went in. And effectively what you had, to break it down, make it easy for people to understand, recap, is we had SaffronMan came up with an idea for a champion creation contest that had the reward of an account as the end of, sort of the reward for your contest, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So I kept in touch with Cirilla throughout the whole process, told them about the whole thing. Obviously, they said it's really cool, and they'd like to do something about that in the future. And, 3 months later, they had their own champion creation that is Calvalax, right?
And correct. And let us mention here, it does say that Cirilla says, I have forwarded them to the team so they could also admire them. And it says, that is a very cool idea. And those entries are just precious. By the way, we are still going to conduct this contest on creating a champion, but not this month, it looks like. So they did actually decide to sort of do this sort of same contest idea, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
And that would be the first bit that we were mentioning here with where this now has some context.
Mm-hmm.
Where this is the man who came out with the character and thanked SaffronMan for his idea, and they removed that as well. So this is another bit of information that we have before we get on to the main point of the video here. This is another thing where it's something that you sort of came up with, etc. And it seems like there's another similar thing. It's not 100% proof, but yeah, I mean, we got some pretty good evidence that there's a fairly similar thing, and we 100% know for a fact that they removed the thank you and the shout out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to the next point today. Okay, so here's the next point here. We had to find the photo here. So this is Saffron once again talking to Cirilla here. And to be fair, the point of this video, just for the people that don't know, the point of this video isn't we're not trying to throw Cirilla under the bus. Like, we don't care. She's a mouthpiece for Plarium. Okay, it's a conduit from which information is flowing between SaffronMan and Plarium. That is what's happening right here. You can just cover the name. I don't care. That's not what's going on here. So what happens is, you basically mention to them, from what I can see here, an idea for double chance on things like Ancients, Voids, and Sacred at the same time, over a weekend, perhaps, which is your birthday.
Yeah. Last year Cirilla was on the podcast, and I was doing rather well within the community, and we were all rather hyped, and I wanted to do something special for my birthday, and I was in good terms with Cirilla. I said, hey, why don't we have a 2 times Ancients, Voids, and Sacreds at the same time? It hasn't happened before. The community needs something to be galvanized, and this would be absolutely nuts. And oh, by the way, how about we do it on July 31st, right? That would be a pretty cool thing. It was my birthday. I thought it would be a pretty nice thing to do with the community. We talked about it on the podcast and for months and months, and then they just kind of dismissed the idea entirely. But they took the idea to their team, and they really liked the idea, and they're going to discuss the possibility. They didn't do it for my birthday, though. They decided to wait 7 months and do it for their second birthday.
To be fair, though, I mean, so here's the thing. So,
I would too.
To be fair, they'd be like, who cares about SaffronMan's birthday? Right. What do I'm playing.
Yeah.
Okay, so but we have another 3 strikes you're out. We have a third reference of information here where it seems like Plarium does in fact take inspiration from the community. Is what I would glean from this. This point here is, to be honest, even if they took this 2X idea and did it for their birthday, I don't think they did anything wrong here. Okay, in this particular circumstance. However, the point of this today, right here, is this type of stuff has happened multiple times in the community, in my personal opinion, because I've been very transparent since the beginning about how I don't like my dealings I had with Plarium. Everything seemed shady. Everything seemed only the way it benefits them. And it's always a one-way flow type of stuff. It seems like they've kind of changed a little bit over the years. I don't know. I'm not in the program anymore. You're still in the program?
No, I left the program, mate. Yep.
You left the program
due to stuff like this, the communication, their antics, what they've done to the game over the past 10 months, what they've done to communities. It was I couldn't take any more of their sort of political jargon. Every time they had a raid digest come out each week, and it's just they didn't listen to anyone. They've got their own plans. I'm not trying to be negative to Cirilla or anything else either. I think, just like Darth said, we're trying to say to the fact that they have done this before. If you look at the character skins where they've had people copyright their images, they've had to literally go to court to fight over images of some of the characters.
They had to change Rihanna's face. They put Rihanna's face in the game, and then they. Yeah,
there's like 7 characters that are like that have had their issues, which don't get talked about. But yeah, again, David is a fantastic guy, fully deserving of that character. Really cool creation, really fun for coming on the podcast and talking about it, which is really good. It's just a shame that they kind of go down. It's just their communication. They make you feel a little bit hollow, right?
I'd like to ask you this question, SaffronMan. Okay,
oh, shoot.
Do you think there is a world in which we live where Plarium is perhaps not treating their content creators, artists, and people that basically help them become who they are in a completely transparent and okay manner?
Look, if it wasn't for Raid, I wouldn't be where I am now. I started creating content for Raid. I'm still creating the award show for Raid community to just give a little something back when I can, right? And it's their plan. They've got their partners that are on hundreds of thousands of subs on YouTube, which get information for content creators. And then we've got content creators which don't even get their own content creator codes, unlike partners do. It's just levels, right? And content creators, unfortunately, just aren't on the level required to put in that feedback where it's going to make a difference. And on that end, I was like, okay, if that's the case, then yeah, sorry.
It's unfortunate for me because I think the takeaway from this video for me is I don't come away from this particular topic angry or anything. I come away sad. Because the takeaway for me is there's no reason to remove the part of the video where he thanks you.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a nice thing that he did. That's it. It doesn't matter.
Well, it's nice. We're all doing nice things, right? We're all trying to do nice things. We bring up, cosplay competitions, the community events. We're trying to bring people together. No one said to, no one asked for an award show in the first place. And we're all trying to bring people together, all communities together. And if we can't even say thank you to one another, because we didn't mention Plarium or Raid in general, it's a bit bad. I mean, David created a character. If he wants to say thank you to whoever he wants, then he should be able to say it. But still, history, right?
I guess, and I guess we'll leave it up to the viewers to decide. We've shown a few clips, a little bits of information, some DMs, some bits from another person who was in the content creation program, and SaffronMan here. And I mean, everyone knows my story. I was in the program with them. I don't think they treat the people amazingly. That's just how I see it, and I keep hearing more and more and more stories like these ones.
Just quickly, do you remember when I know you may or may not do, well, I just joined a content creator program and I had Twitch, the SaffronMan, at front of my name. And there were complaints that I had Twitch in front of my name because I was appearing at the top of the content creator list. And you backed me up, said you shouldn't have to change your name. Don't change your name. Yeah. They wanted me to remove the Twitch section just because I was at the top of a content creator list.
Nah, dude.
And that's what it's like. It's
it's people trying to pretend that they have any percentage of your life in their hands, and which is highly annoying to me. And I know that there's plenty of arguments to be made on stuff like that, where it's like, well, technically you're leasing your account and you have no control over it, and you signed away all your rights when you signed the artist program and all this stuff. Like, I understand all that, and you know what? In those type of logistic points, you're right. But somehow, when it comes down to the decisions that people make when it comes to treating other people, Plarium has fallen short of them multiple times, in my opinion. And that's just where I would end the topic at. What do you think? Is that fair? Am I being too harsh?
Yeah, I think that's fair, man. They're treating so many people different, I mean, when I was doing No More Jockeys, they were deleting those videos without even us. They changed the rules just so I couldn't post my videos in their Discord. I mean, they're literally going above and beyond. It's the grey area. You talked about the grey area earlier. You had the interview with the tool guys, right? The tool developers. It's the same thing. It's all about that grey area. As long as Plarium have got that grey area, they're in control. Everyone else is being held liable, and they're in control.
SaffronMan, SaffronMan, it's in the grey areas of relationships where you have the ability to, go one way or another, that people find out how people really treat other people. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's the game or anything. I mean, when people have the ability to screw you over and they choose not to, then you know, okay, there's something there. But in these type of scenarios, this is just another story, and people can take it however they want to, but it's another content creator that was in the system and kind of has another little bit of a bummer story with Plarium. So thanks for sharing your story today. And any last words?
No, I just want to say thanks again for David. David hasn't got a single bad word to say at Plarium. They know how to treat people right when they want to. It's just when it comes to the general masses, it doesn't seem to be get listened to. But yeah, and mad thank you to everyone that's kind of supported me for all this way. And we're always going to have more ideas coming forward. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not telling Plarium any of my ideas anymore. Let's put it that way. Let's go.
There you go. Protect your IP.
Yeah.
All right. Love you, buddy. We'll talk to you everyone next time. Bye-bye.